Okay, let's give it a shot on your old tube radio network here on a Saturday evening. The Saturday evening place to be, your old tube radio network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The old tired tube radio network, the old tube radio network, here once again on a Saturday evening, 27085, Channel 11 on your Citizen Band radio, or maybe on your scanner, or I don't know, wherever you might be, at oldtuberadio.net on the Universal Media Net web, here live and direct in the Central Valley, or on the YouTube thing, which I think is... I see the cameras are rolling behind me, so the YouTube must be up. My name is Dennis, your net control person for the evening into the OTR air chair, where we have a lot of things going on tonight. It is the new 8-week roster, so somewhere there is some numbers for you to pick 00 so we can get going with the SWL roll call. We will be revisiting from last week the question of the week, the question of the month about the Panasonic chassis tube radios. I'll have that in a minute. I'll give you the question. And, as promised, we'll give you a hint this week so you can perhaps glean the right answer. In the meantime, just a reminder, the Old Tube Radio Network is not a club. We're just a voluntary association of people that are interested in old tube radios, and we welcome anyone to participate. You don't need a number. There's no secret handshakes, no funny hats to wear. You don't even have to have an old tube radio. So join us, won't you? First off, okay, I got to get... Okay, how do I look? They're moving the lights around. There must be a problem. All right. Well, don't worry about me. Just make the radios look good. If the radios need some lights, take my lights and put them on the radios. The 00, it's chosen from the shortwave listeners with perfect attendance from the last 8 weeks, of which there were actually many. And we will install a new 00, and what do you get for that? Well, nothing. you get to check in first, and then you have to check in again. How bad is that? Thanks to Dave out in Sanger, SWL 51 for the last 8 weeks, and I think I have one. I'm hoping I have one. Okay, or two, or one. Oh, 2, 3. Okay, just one, please, and. Thank you. The 00 for this week, if I can open the paper, is... SWL2, yes, Mr. OBP. Where's the camera? Right there. And Mr. OBP, who's been 00 many times, is out on video chat, so say hello to Kevin and say, check in, won't you? And I'm getting him checked in right now. And then I'm getting SWL1 checked in. I don't know if SWL1 has ever been a 00 or not. He's a number 1. He doesn't need to be a 00. And then we're checking in OBP again. And then we are going to SWL3. And SWL4. Shortwave listener number 5. SWL6. SWL7. I get a proxy in for 7. He may come in later, but I will do that now. Oh, and I want to regenerate the question, as it were, so you can be thinking about it, because I know you know the answer. So the question is: 13 Panasonic chassis tube radios had a range expand, range boost, or range gain switch on the front panel. But only 5 had a front panel variable microphone gain control, and 2 of those 5 radios were Canadian models, one being the Cardone Spitfire Mark II, and as we saw last week, thanks to, I believe it was Mr. Green Arrow, the Cardone Spitfire Mark XL. Let me see if I can get picture of that just to re-up your memory. Yeah, there it is. That one also has, and you notice it's the mic gain switch, but it's the Panasonic chassis, very similar to like a Robin T123B or 240. So the question is, out of all those 5 front panel variable microphone gain controls, and you know 2 are the Cardone, the Spitfire Mark II and the Mark XL, there are 3 more. Can you name those 3, or maybe one of them? We'll have a hint coming up. So I just wanted to see how good your knowledge is of the old tube radios. So hopefully we will have an answer, but maybe you'll pick it up before we do. Back to the roll call. All right, we were at SWL7, and I got 7 proxied in, and yeah, okay, we're going the right video here, and then over to SWL10, and I'm looking on the screen of screens to see if I spy Chrissy yet out of Idaho. Nope, so we'll keep on going. Over to SWL 13. And you can go to oldtuberadio.net. I think it'll allow you to check in there like some people do. And let's take a pause to get stations checked in that may be mobile or out in the elements or otherwise needing a check-in before it gets too late. What's that you say? It's already too late. All right, who are the stations needing check-ins over?
77 in the mobile.
Okay, we've got 77 in the mobile with the, the shiny side. The shiny side is some way, and the rubber side is some way. So I hope you've got it in the right way.
We sure do. 73 is everyone.
All right, thanks. Sounding good from the mobile. Who was the other station? Somebody on sideband. What was the question?
Never mind.
Chris.
Okay, any other check-ins I needed to take at this point? Over.
SWL 111, Dennis.
All right, 111, I will do. Sounding great and feeling even better, no doubt.
Yeah, between health and getting my truck back, I'm back whole again. Y'all take care, and it was good to hear everybody. See ya. 111, clear.
All right, sounding good from Reedleytown North. And yeah, someday we'll have our antennas where they're supposed to be, and you won't need to drive in as much, but we're glad that you do.
Dennis, go ahead and check in Robert, tent maker.
Okay, that's 99. We get tent maker checked in. And someone there a little distorted on the audio. Say it again. Over. I think that was 131. I didn't quite catch the number. Over. All right, I think that was 131. So I'll get 131 checked in. On the list of lists, we left off. Where did we leave off? I believe it was over at number 13, but I do see SWL10 has arrived. The dolphins are swimming across my screen, so that is a good thing. So 10 is in. I got you, Chrissy. Thank you. Let's see. Cornbread doesn't need a late check-in, early check-in, or any check-in for that matter.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now, Dennis?
I can hear you now. Over. Or I heard you now. I heard you then. Let's try SWL 14. SWL 16. He's throwing up his hands. He's pointing to his wrist. He's pointing to the clock. He says, if you don't hurry up, we are never going to get to the old tube radio. So, Charlie, I will venture to do that. But you know how it is. We've got to get all this stuff out of the way first. And Charlie and Chet are very good about having everything ready to go for me to just kind of get through it and not, what did my dad used to say, not dilly-dally around. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18.
Break.
The breaking station, go ahead.
Did you get mine there, Dennis? I couldn't hear you if you did.
All right, I think it was 131, but the audio was so distorted I couldn't tell.
Yeah, that was me on my mobile, and it's having problems, so I had to jump over to my base.
Okay, no, you're super loud now, and I will get 131 checked in. Over.
Okay, thank you.
Directed net roll call. If you're wondering what the heck is going on here, the old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. Those are the radios from 1958 to 1978 with the vacuum tubes inside, 1958 being the year that the FCC banged the gavel and said, yes, we are sequestering the 11-meter band from those amateur radio operators and making it available to a citizens radio service with a specific set of rules which basically nobody followed from the get-go. But the radios were pretty fun, and we will be talking with them and learning about them coming up. SWL-19, of course, doing the cue cards tonight. Thank you, Chet, from Derby, New York. Got the X in the square. And I want to see, the temperature could be, but probably isn't, in the upper 20s with no showers. See, that's the one that shows up at Belfast, Maine. So hopefully you're not getting any snow showers, but you never know. Thanks for checking in. Let's go to SWL-20.
Now, number 20 here. Please check me in. Also, 29 and 54. And proxy is in for next week. I believe I'll be working. May not get back in time, so just in case.
All right, and when you are out on the road, and it is safe to do so, or you're taking a break, right? You would never listen to OTR while on the job. Do you tune in the oldtuberadio.net to see what's going on?
Well, on the way home, if it's early enough, I listen to the net on my phone all the way home. I don't try and make any comments because it requires me to be driving.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We would not want that. But you would probably show up on the DSWL list as one of the unknowns. We have the unknown SWLs running around up in the balcony. You will notice them with the paper bags over their respective heads and the rubber duck antennas somewhere. Thank you, Harvey. Over to SWL 21, Mr. JT, fresh out of another old radio night. I am looking to see. Yeah, what was going on? Let me play something here from the old radio night. I got in late, and then I couldn't make a comment because I was busy here. Do we have some audio from this? But I didn't quite understand the setup.
I lost the top part.
There was a camera or a phone.
There it is.
And a connector.
Yeah.
And this kind of audio waveform and an audio bar and a decibel unit thing. So I don't know what was happening on old radio night.
It's got a right and a left channel on it.
Yeah.
I'll use this to point with.
So technology. Oh, there's the coax. So technology has hit old radio night. I don't have anything like that.
400.
And we're getting the coax here. So
anyway, there's your right channel there, left channel there. That's your microphone picking me up, and then that's the wavelength there.
All right. See, pretty cool high-tech stuff on old radio night. Tune them in Saturdays before this particular net, especially if you're on the East Coast. You don't have to stay so late to do that. But anyway, whatever you did there, JT, it looks interesting, and maybe we'll get some technology here in our building one of these days. Over to SWL 22. And going to go to 23 Skidoo over, and I believe he has contracted out with, it's not Starlink. You don't want to know how much money Starlink wanted to get the Echolink link up. I think he said it was Bose Link. So you can see them. They'll be flying across the midday sky. You won't see the little lights of the satellites, but you may hear some honking as they pass by. So let me see if I'll be right back. Let me see if we can grab 23 Skidoo on the Echolink link, and he should have the hint to our question, which we will repeat.
Well, good evening there, Dennis, and hello to all the SWLs. Just wanted to send greetings from sunny, well, it was sunny earlier today over here at the beach in Santa Cruz. Spent a brisk afternoon up on the roof playing with the aluminum farm growing up there by leaps and bounds. But I do have a clue for you. And just to recall, the reason that we're actually talking about mic gain controls is because last week when we put up a picture of the Cardin Spitfire Mark XL, a beautiful picture, by the way, great radio, people wondered what the difference was between that and the Robin T240D. And I happened to point out that one of them was the presence of the microphone gain control, which most people had probably not noticed. So I decided to dig into the archives and take a look around and come up with a little bit of a challenge for folks to name all of the radios that actually had microphone gain controls on the front panel. Two of those, as we mentioned, were the Cardin Spitfire Mark II and Spitfire Mark XL. There were three more, and here's your hint. None of the radios that had a front panel variable mic gain control were sold in the United States. Over.
All right. None of them. I brought the Spitfire Mark XL, and that seems very odd to me. But when you realize on the Panasonic chassis, each manufacturer got to take little pieces and parts of whatever was available. I think the Robin had all the switches, and the Gemtronics were missing lights and switches. So for some reason, the international manufacturers got a mic gain that nobody else did. So maybe there was a little bit of extra cash or something going on under the table. All right, so that's the question. So as you check in, SWL-wise or tube-wise, or you can break in when we're doing the tubes if you think you know. 13 Panasonic chassis tube radios had a range expand, range boost, or range gain switch on the front panel, but only 5 had front panel variable microphone gain controls. We know 2 Canadian models, the Cardin Spitfire Mark II and the Cardin Spitfire Mark XL. We are looking for the other 3, and the hint we just got was that none of those radios with a front panel variable mic gain were sold in the U.S. So find that non-U.S. neighbor and see what they have in their garage in the next hour and a half, and you might come up with the answer. Thank you, 23 Skidoo. We've got you checked in. Directed net roll call, looking for SWL 2024. Over to SWL 25. I'll give 25 a check-in. I think he is performing somewhere tonight. So maybe some of you are out there listening to the performance in one ear and OTR in the other ear. Turning the page, we are looking for SWL 27.
Break OTR.
Hey, in the break OTR. Go ahead, sir.
All right, Dennis, I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, 25 live and direct checking in.
Yeah, this is the I'm not sure what happened frequency. Quite often here at Old Tube Radio Net Control, I've got you checked in. Yeah, I was thinking maybe you were out and about performing a bit of music, but I noticed you're performing a bit of music for us on the Browning here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis.
And I'll call 27 again just because I can. And there was a meeting. I couldn't make it last night, a Fresno Amateur Radio Club meeting where they were talking about Moonbound. So I wonder if Dwayne went to that. Sorry I missed it. I couldn't get through the gate. I showed up late and I couldn't get through the gate. It was a terrible trying thing. Over to SWL 28. And that should be Gary, and I'm looking to see if we've got Sacramento online. Sometimes the items scroll past my very poor eyesight here, and I miss them, so we'll see. Getting a proxy check-in for SWL 29, and also Mr. RFI is out in front of the Browning probably tonight, and the Robin waiting for that E-skip, that sporadic E stuff to come in. We had kind of we're starting to get the warm evenings, the warmer evenings and afternoons, so maybe we will see some sporadic E propagation here as cycle 25 gets better and better. Over to SWL 31, SWL 32, SWL 33, myself, and where is that bozo control? All right, just don't break anything. Trying to honk the proboscis there. Let's see, who else? Where do we go now? Let's try SWL 34. And I'll get Railroader and Little Toot proxy checked in tonight. Over to SWL 35. Let me click the button, and as always, Mr. Bill, who is good at checking in when he was really close by and is even better checking in when he's not that close by, is saying hello from Cheyenne, Wyoming. And the gang at Red Monkey Communications, 73 to all of you out there. Over to SWL 36. That's Jerry in Arizona. SWL 37.
37 here, Dennis. Now, you were talking about, was that the Gem Marine products you were talking about earlier?
I mentioned that what I'm actually talking about are the Panasonic chassis, of which Gem Marine is one, but a specific attribute of those particular radios were that they had range expand, range boost, range gains on the American models, it seems. So you flip a switch and get your extra dB of audio, or not. But there were some of those radios, instead of putting the switch, they actually gave you a variable control called a mic gain. And we know that two of those are, one we had check-in last week, are the Canadian Cardone Spitfire Mark II and the Cardone Mark XL, and we are looking for what the other three radios that would have the mic gain on, but the clue and the catch at the same time is that none of those radios were sold in the U.S., so there you go.
Yeah, and I have one that was sold in the U.S. here also, the Chris 23. Has got that same chassis as the Gem Marine products.
That is correct, with possibly a range boost or range expand. Some of them did not have it, but we're looking for the ones for the mic gain. Got you checked in, and thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, betcha, and I'll be back later.
Okay, very good. SWL 38, Sam in Byron. I will scroll back through the list, see if I missed anybody. SWL 39. SWL 40. SWL 41. In New York, where it's later than you think. SWL 42. SWL 43. Got a proxy for 43. Oh, and the comment. Let me for those who are watching the video. Yeah, it does look a little. My back shelf, which I usually adorn with radios, and the center shelf, which I usually adorn with something, is pretty. Can I say the word naked? Can we say that on the radio? Because I was installing some new stuff on the radio shelf, which required me to pull out a bunch of cables and restring things, and the radios were in the way, and I ran out of time to decorate. And then I think we did such a good job of placing them so they would not get broken or damaged as we were running around moving cables that nobody thought to put them back on the shelf. So next week, actually, what is behind me? The tuners. Oh, it's two tuners. It's a Yaesu tuner and a Nye Viking tuner. Well, that's no good for the Old Tube Radio Network. So next week, maybe we'll stack up the shelves back with radios as they should be. So good eye on the video, and maybe I should blame it on the window cadaver. Maybe the window cadaver is out Trying to make a few DX contacts. Directed net roll call, looking for SWL 44. SWL 45.
Boy, if you can hear me, 45 trying to check in.
I can hear you, Paul, and you are sounding good here in Midtown Fresno. Over.
Great. Maybe you're clear up.
All right, we'll see. It's actually pretty unnoisy. It's unnoisy tonight, but we'll see. That could change. Plus, I've got the RF gain cranked up just so the SWLs don't go crazy listening to my static. Thank you, Paul. We might see you during the radio check-ins. Over to shortwave listener 46. SWL 47.
Greetings from the radio lounge. This is SWL 47.
And 47 sounding. I think I may have heard you on the crossband, and it sort of coincided with the echoing. So I either didn't get. Well, I know I didn't get back to you, but I think that's what happened. But I do believe I heard your not your ear, but your voice in my ear back a few moments ago. Now I hear your voice in both my ears, and it sounds good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was just making a random compliment to you. I'd heard the other guy that tried to chime in. I guess it was sideband. And, of course, I couldn't hear what was going on. I thought, great, another one of my radios is broken. But you had immediately figured out that it was on another mode of transmission. But there it is.
And there it is. Got you checked in, sounding good. And I will mention that, if I haven't already, when I probably haven't, that the Echo link is up, as we heard moments ago, at 354870. I see we've got a couple of stations in the queue to get them checked in, which we will do. Also, you know what? Let me take a little bit of time, since that's what I seem to do, is take all the time and say hello to. Let's go to the video page. See who is out there tonight. Okay, that's before the program. There's John. Did I get John? Yeah, he's coming up. And 51, I got your noise floor. I'll get you checked in. Cornbread. Nobody said that word tonight. OBP, who's our new 00. Popcorn 913, who is distributing popcorn up in the balcony, thanks to Albert and the Squamish boys. They got the barbecue and the popcorn going on. Thank you, 913, for making sure everybody that wants a popped kernel can get one. Let's see, who else is hanging out with us tonight? Charlie checking in. So Bourbon 497 Gypsum. That's the Ski Patrol logo. Oh, I didn't know that. That's the little dolphins and the penguins that Chrissy often puts up. Or maybe that's something else. I don't know. Who else? Oh, there's Road Dog 507. You know what? Let me go back, because I missed that check-in. SWL 41, probably scrolled right by it. And OBP, you've got it right. That's FRES, capital N, capital O. From Central Arizona, Magnum Red is saying hello, and a host of others, including Captain Robert. Good to see you aboard tonight. Hope you are feeling better, and we've got you checked in from Nevada. And waving a hand and saying thank you to the USAF. Coming up next will be more SWL roll call. Looking for 48. SWL 49. SWL 50.
50 checking in.
Hey, you are sounding good, beaconing down the hill into Midtown tonight. Thanks. And SWL 51, Dave has got a high noise level, or is it just he's got a low noise level net controller and a regular noise level? Anyway, Dave sounding good, and thanks for 00 the last 8 weeks, looking pretty good. That job will be taken over by Mr. OBP. Let's try from behind the golden keyboard, SWL 52. SWL 53.
Good evening, Dennis. 53, Bill Nevertheless on the east side of Fresno. Checking in.
All right, good to have you right here on page 2 tonight, and we've got the X and the square. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Let's see, who's joining us at oldtuberadio.net tonight? Right here in the front row, as always, Charlie and Chet. Louisville, Kentucky, also. Might have to get an extra chair out there, although usually bring your own. We got a spot for you. If you want to get here early, we'll set you up right in the footlights and all the action. Scotts Valley, California. When was I in Scotts Valley? I was driving up to... was it Big Basin? I think I stopped in Scotts Valley. What a nice place. Woodland Park, Colorado. Speaking about nice places and a nice gentleman up there in Woodland, Colorado, always listening for our signals to give us a report saying, I think I heard you. I think I heard your mud duck station's coming through. Well, that's the beacon. That's sort of like WWV with all the antennas up in the antenna farm then. Inez, Kentucky, as always. Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. The boys in Squamish they're out on the edge of the balcony tonight, way overlooking the crowd. Do not throw any popcorn. Well, go throw it. We'll clean it up. We'll have Bozo clean it up. Albury, California. Amarillo, Texas. Hello to Texas. I was listening to some really big sounding stations on 40 meters this afternoon from Texas, sounding good on their nice audio. Greenfield, Ohio. We have a Greenfield, California, not too far away. We used to have stations checking in. They'd drive up to that hill on Greenfield and beacon down into the valley. Kerman, Fresno, and a host of others on your old Tube Radio network. We are checking in SWL 54, calling for SWL 55. And the station that gets around to just about every net that is in Fresno. And then on the, not to be outdone, also on the Google Maps, SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Sounding good. Phil, thanks for checking in. Let's go to SWL 57. Out of central Kentucky, no doubt. Brown Dog Audio. SWL 58. Oh, I missed the Ditchbanks sideband net because I had all sorts of stuff that was going on. I was trying to go to the Fresno club meeting. I didn't make that, and then I didn't make that. Didn't make the Ditchbanks sideband net. We'll talk about that. I'll get Jeremy proxied in. I know he's working on a massive antenna farm to beacon here into Central California, and he will be able to do it. Over to SWL 59. And Uncle Hairball is there at the ready. Got you checked in. I see you had perfect attendance last week. You are, Uncle Hairball, you are somewhere in the it's M&M's. You know, this is from Costco. I know because the Costco card buys everything around here, thanks to Bob and Steve. But Uncle Hairball, you're in the perfect attendance bin, but we didn't pick you up, but maybe next time. Let's go over to SWL 60.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Evening time to all the fellows out there. And you did get checked in. Chris beat me to the punch, 41, but you were checked in.
Oh, good. All right, thanks. I'm always glad when someone remembers. The micro-milliwatted, mismodulated Midtown Mud Machine does get a check-in. Thank you, Joe, and we got you checked in.
Thank you.
Over to, now here's the station that rarely misses a check-in, even when he can barely hear me, which is just about all the time. SWL 61. All right, see what I mean? Right on cue. You can't have a better straight man than Copenhagen. Thank you for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, and then over to King Duckford and the Court of Bontanero, North Dakota. KD, I've got you checked in. If I hit the button on 62, there it is. Over to SWL 63. SWL 64. Shortwave listener 65. SWL 66. We are due for a 66 sighting at some point. SWL 67. Getting Bill checked in. I think you're still having some internet issues up there in Canby. Well, we got you checked in if you watched the replay. And New York, NY 157. Michael could be out there listening. I'll get Michael checked in. SWL 70. Mark is moving antennas and radios around. I'll get him checked in. Be interesting to hear from his new location if it works any better for me and him in our two-way communications. Over to Stan, SWL 71, Dallas, Georgia, where tonight it is a very cold 27 degrees. I think maybe we sent you that. It's been nice here. We had one really cold day, and then like today, it was 73, 75, and it's nice in here. I bet I've got the fans going to cool down the tubes. What did I hear? I heard an Idaho QSO party, but the band was pretty devoid of big contests. Not to say that there weren't any. Anyway, Stan, thanks, and stay warm. Turn on the extra radio tonight, and that might help. Maybe it'll get up to a nice 45 in the Radio Shack. Over to SWL 72. SWL 73. 74. We're getting 74 checked in. Miss Jilly. Over to SWL 75. Shortwave listener 76. Raccoon Radio Ranch. I've never been out to the Radio Ranch. I do have a couple of raccoons that frequent the outdoor cat food dish. Over to SWL 77, checking in from the mobile just moments ago. Catch him on the replay, won't you? Over to SWL 78, and I do believe if I can manipulate all the controls here, that we can get 78 on the Echo link. So we'll see what we can do. KA6JMM, KB6GFD. Barring any great delays. Here we go. Oops, not hearing any audio. Let's try it again. Give it one more try. I got the carrier, as it were, such that it is on Echolink, but no audio. Give it a try again. Over. And Richard is down south in the state here of California, trying the Echolink link. Maybe the Bose link is not as good as the Starlink. Maybe it's not as good as we thought. All right. Well, we'll try it again later. I'll have the Echolink link up. If you get a chance to pop in, please do. But we do have you checked in. KB6GFD. Over to SWL 79. And I get Philo checked in. I talked to him earlier. Over to SWL 80. And then that time that we've all come to know when we turn the page and see what's going on.
27.0850 TR Channel 11.
With Bob and Steve. Yes, the Bob and Steve Show, a copyrighted feature of the old Tube Radio Network. Let's see what's going on. Oh, we don't want that camera. Hi, I'm out of focus way down there. Let's try this one. That's a little bit better. Let's see what's going on with Bob and Steve Areno tonight. In episode 106, March 12, 2022, Bob and Steve noting that the Jingle Singers would like to welcome everybody to see the new OTR door mat at the entry door. It was so nice I could not, wipe my shoes on it. It's pretty cool. It's got a nice picture of various radios, and I don't know if those will be available at some point or not, but at least we got a little class around here thanks to the doormat. Don't forget about the clocks. Thanks for reminding me about that. Spring up to daylight saving time. So that's spring, forward, fall, back. So we're losing an hour tonight. So it's later than you think already. And I noticed that Nixie clocks are set to UTC. So they're out of bounds. They're at zero way before they should be because they're set up at zero time rather than plus or minus 8 like we should be. So set the clocks back, and at the bar tonight they're having a fish fry, French fries, coleslaw to celebrate St. Patty's Day. That's coming up next week on Wednesday or Thursday, I think. And I will be involved with that. Anytime we can have some good Irish Celtic music and some green beer, courtesy of Bob and Steve, you should join in and do it. Thanks, gang.
27.085 OTR Channel 11.
Back to the check-ins. Radios are coming up. Don't go away. Don't touch that dial because we've got some tube radios coming your way. Checking in SWL 81 and calling for SWL 82.
A2 checking in.
Hey, on the Ding Ding radio, sorry I missed last night. I was trying to do 3 different things, none of which I did. And probably if I wouldn't have done them well. So maybe it's a good thing. Any long distance stations last night on the net?
Yeah, I think so. Oh gosh, I wrote it down. I don't have my notes out. I thought it was Arizona, but Tucson, Arizona, I believe came in. So yeah, we did have some DX come in there. That's pretty good.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking just to see maybe perhaps there would be a portent of things to come tonight. We are, of course, talking about the infamous Ditch Banks sideband net here in Central California on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific time on your dial at 27,365, which would indeed be lower sideband. The voice you just heard is net control, does a great job, and all are welcome to check in. Thanks, Ron. Sounding good.
All right, Dennis, and doing a bang-up job there. Catch you later.
All right. On the ding ding. Let me see. Whoa, New York 157 is in. I believe that is SWL 68. So let me make sure I get you checked in because I think I missed your post. Let's see. Oh, hey, and passed your technician class last Saturday. Okay, we'll be looking for, I don't know what kind of radios you got. We'll be looking for you on 10 meters. 28,300, 28,500. They should be hearing you there. Maybe you'll pick up one of those fusion radios that Yaesu puts out, and we'll pick you up in a chat window. So congratulations. And we're not going to let you go that easy on the technician. We're going to want you to get up to general so you can join us doing some 10-meter AM coming up. Got you checked in 157, sounding good, and congratulations on that. Google's Orwellian saying the doormat is so nice, I just stepped on over it. Don't you hate that? when you do so nice and then you don't want it. Who puts plastic over their furniture these days? Do people still do that? We are looking for SWL 83. SWL 84, and I cannot, because I moved all the radios, I cannot turn on the ceremonious E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. But it is in a safe spot for those who tune in just for that endeavor. Also checking in Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl 86, 87, and 88 respectively. Also looking for SWL 89. And 1 year anniversary. As you might remember, Google's Orwellian, that March is our month to check in. Speaking of St. Patty's Day, green radios, and I bet we'll have at least one or two tonight. as we often do in the month of March. Over to SWL 90. SWL 91, right there with the check mark, the radio, and the applause for all our SWLs and tube radio operators. Felix, thanks for checking in way over there. Or he's probably saying, I'm way over here. Out there somewhere near the Bronx. Can you be near the Bronx, or are you in the Bronx? Or maybe it's just a place that that you're there. Wherever you are, there you go. Let's go to SWL 92. Shortwave listener 93. SWL 95. SWL 96. Let me give a call. I think he checked in via the YouTube site, but Dennis might be out there. Hello, 96. All right, just on YouTube tonight. I don't mind checking in a few Dennises now and then. Makes for an interesting evening. Let's go over to SWL 97. And that's plus or minus the delay. For those that are the digital SWLs that are checking in, it depends on, I think, how I click my mouse as to how much delay actually happens. And speaking of delay, the delay caught up to Warthog 95 in beautiful Orlando, Florida tonight. And he's on. His radio of choice tonight is the Courier Royale. And I can remember back in the day of old tube radio, we would check in 3, sometimes 4 couriers a night, or, a check-in period, because there were a couple of stations that had multiple couriers, which was the top of the line for courier at that time. Thanks for checking in 95. Let me call 97 again. SWL 98. Hello, Tracy, checking in. And I will check in Jeff as well at the end of the net. It says you'll be away from the microphonium for a while. Well, we'll do that. 98 is in. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 99. And I do believe via the Echo link, thanks to Bo's link, we'll see if we can get a call out to Tony in South Carolina, KB6 GFD listening.
Hey Dennis, please check in SWL 100. Good evening to you from South Carolina, KD4BAO.
All right, got you checked in, and one quick repeat or reply to a question. We had a 27-degree temperature, well, south of you guys. So as you head up the coast, is the weather behaving? Or are you guys in the 20s out there as well? Over.
$34 degrees at my house right now outside.
All right, that's cold enough for me. So hopefully we've got great weather, so we're sending some good stuff your way. Thanks for checking in, KB6 GFD. And from the Echo link, that's Tony SWL 100 over to SWL 102, checking in on the video side. John from Scranton, Arkansas. Thanks for jumping into the old tube radio tonight. .102. Oh, well, that's reminding me that we are going to be moving the clocks ahead. And that's one thing I don't need is less sleep. I need some more sleep. Let's go to SWL 103. Hopefully I look awake. They've got a squirt gun back there. All right. No, I'm not going to go to sleep. Chet he's got a squirt gun pointing at me. He says, don't you go to sleep. No, I won't. I'll be here till 10. SWL 1, they'd be like falling in the pool again. SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
Shortwave listener 109 with some very good audio here into Midtown tonight. We've got the X in the square. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, thank you, Dennis. And you're sounding extra good up here on the mountain tonight.
All right, we try harder, but I always like it when I grab a station like yourself that's got a good receiver. It'll make me sound good. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 110. As you heard moments ago, SWL 111 in the bodacious Robert Mobile here cruising around Midtown and getting the good signals on the Fresno station. Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to move your antenna more than a few feet. You got to stick it on the top of your vehicle and drive out somewhere. What do they call that in amateur radio? A rover. So Robert was a rover tonight. Over to SWL 113. That's Tom and Sanger, who was on the Friday morning net. So I'll get Tom checked in. He was sounding pretty good on the early risers net. Over to SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, Rickshaw. The X is in the square yet again. I'm going to have to print up some more X's because you seem to use all the ones I give you, but that's okay. Got you checked in.
Thank you very much.
Let me head over to, and I haven't refreshed my screen yet, so hopefully that's not a bad thing. No, all right, SWL 128, heading over to Fairfax, Virginia. And John, who is no stranger to being an SWL, one of the early shortwave listeners from, I believe it was Popular Electronics, says, I've got two, seems to be a problem with the feed. It's got two audio sources, sounds very like a delayed audio and video of today's show. Let's see, I think I put the correct link up. Did I put the correct link on the main page? It's hard to, you know what, I wonder if I did. I'm going to do something here that's probably a really bad thing, but we're going to try this. It is a Panasonic, but he can confirm that there was a Cardona. Oh, that's a bad thing. Into it. Wait a minute, I think I did put the link up. And it may have been a Rob. So what I'm going to do is I'll relink the link that's supposed to be there. So some of you may be watching me. Some of you may be watching me from a week ago. Hold on. Let me fix that, or see if I can fix that. I'll be right back. All right, that should be the right link. You don't believe how hard radio is when you start adding pictures to it. Let me see. Let me see if it's going to bring it up. It just showed up. So anyway, thank you, John, for mentioning that. Also, bring it up. It just showed up. So anyway, thank you, John, for mentioning that. I'm hearing myself all over again. It's deja vu all over again. All right, the link is up, and let's see. Okay. Sometimes if you hear two of the same show and it's the current show, make sure that you do not have an extra browser window open from last week or something, and it'll start playing. And then you will have more of me than you would want to hear. So thanks, John, for that. Hopefully people are now like, wait, he looks just the same, but things are different. Let's go over to SWL 131, who checked in early. Or earlier, let me get my SWL numbers back up here. You know, I've done this before. I really have, even though it doesn't look like it. Let's go over to SWL 133.
Good evening, Dennis. 133, Captain.
Boy, good sound tonight, Dave. It is quiet here tonight. And you are beaconing through into Midtown. Just great. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Speaking of wearing of the green or some color like it, SWL 135.
Now we're tonight the Kean of the green, SWL 135 checking in.
Checking in and doing a good job of it. We've got the X in the square, thanks. SWL 137. Let's head up to Course Gold for Tony, SWL 145.
Good evening, Dennis. Thank you for the call. It's Tony 145 checking in. I'd just like to ask you, would you still like me to pose you the questions and answers when I hear you on Fridays? I don't have a problem doing that. I just was curious if you still like me to send you the questions and answers when you join us.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's not too much of a hassle to put that in there. If not, no biggie, but it's always nice to see what was there, especially if I can't always make the Friday thing, and the questions are good. Tony runs a net, and he always makes his questions sort of amateur radio specific, so it kind of makes you think that, did I miss that question on the exam so many years ago? And sometimes you actually learn something. I know I do. So yeah, if you can do that, that's fine. If it's a problem, no hassle on that. Sounding good though.
Okay, yeah, Dennis, not a problem at all. I was just curious. I didn't want to, over bombard you with anything. If like I said, when I hear you, I'm not sure. It's no problem. I'll go ahead and send them again when I do hear you. Thank you for running the net. Thanks for popping in on Fridays when you can.
Yeah, usually the Echo link, that link runs pretty good. It comes up good. There's not much delay, and you're real good about dragging your feet to make sure people can get in and get out. So it works well. All right, thanks for checking in. Directed net roll call. Radios are coming up on your old tube radio network, SWL 147. Checking in, Neil, up there in Fayetteville, North Carolina tonight. Checking in, cold, and I think he gets the winner here. Down to 21 degrees tonight, so it's at low 20s all up through. I guess I should have the OTR weather map, and we can have the little snowflakes and little magnetic suns and put them on the weather board. Maybe we should do it with tubes. It's like tonight in Poughkeepsie, we've got a Courier Royale down there in Orlando, Florida as well. Looking to the west, up in the Rockies, we've got the Robin T123B. We could do sort of like a weather report of radios. So you are doing a good job there, Neil, tonight. Contacts this week, England, Wales, and Ireland. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people talking to, stations out of the mainland here. So up there, way up on one of those big channels. Anyway, thank you, Neil, and it's good to know that the bands are open and people are doing stuff. Let's go over to SWL 188. Hello, Bobby.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all SWLs near and far. 188 Snowbees checking in.
All right, sounding good. And just one quick question. On my little wimpy weak antenna, when the bands are rolling in, and Channel 11 and Channel 6 is the place for the stations that are running those antennas, those 10,000 watt, 50,000 watt antennas. And I'll see 30 over signals. I can go outside with a walkie-talkie and I can't even get a 30 over signal. So when you're pointing the beam at one of those stations, is your meter constantly pegged?
Yes, on my receive, I'm constantly. I sit about 9, 10 over S9 or so, constant. So it makes it pretty rough sometimes on the ears.
Yeah, you always have to point the back door around, and then maybe they'll come around the backside of the earth. All right, sounding good here on the short hop, as we call it. Got you checked in.
10-4, thank you.
Okay, let's head up the hill. Where what's the song used to say? Where life is beautiful all the time, and I'll be glad to see those nice young men and their clean white coats. So they're coming to take me away, but they're not coming to take you away, Jim. SWL 195.
195, gentlemen, and we got a couple of white coats up here.
It's going around. It really is. Sometimes I think there's more than you think. The Chorus Gold Starliner, up where it will not be. I don't think it'll be 27 degrees tonight. It'll probably be in the upper 30s, perhaps, maybe the low 40s, but sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis, for running the net.
Okay, Joey L. listening in, Van Man in Kentucky, Bourbon 497, and also 497 Gypsums. 497 is a number. Maybe we'll get 497s beaconing in. On Skip tonight, we're calling off the search party, waving a hand, of course, KJG4755 to KEO8492. Thank you, John, for checking in with us tonight. And our last person on the list here, not that you need to be on the list, but this guy is Shockwave, got Jeff checked in. And are there any other stations that didn't get checked in, would like to get checked in before we head over to the Tube Radios? OTR is listening. And it's quiet. I'm going to have to open up my RF gain a little bit. You know, the microphone, I'm bending, the microphone is sinking. I've got the RE27 on this boom, and it is so heavy. I thought I had a little adjusting tool. Oh, it's right here. Let's adjust it. I'm going to adjust the microphonium. Let's see if I can do this without breaking it. I don't know how much tension I can actually, oh my gosh. You know what? I don't want to put any more than is actually there. It's not. Oh, there it is. All right. All right. Have a little bit to have Allen wrench will travel. Now I can bring this up without putting a shadow, and maybe somebody can hear me. Back in a moment. The old Tube Radio Network will be glowing in the dark. OTR, don't go away. You are listening to the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
From behind the Radio Engineering Associates modulation meter, looking like I'm overmodulating, but I'm running a phase rotator that allows me to actually have those that positive modulation percentage with higher negative peaks without distortion. I don't know how they do it, but everybody says it works, and it sounds okay. So we'll believe the. We'll believe the meters. The old Tube Radio Network, real radios going in the dark. Dennis here, your net control to check in the radios while I kind of move back and let the radios take center stage. And they're waving. Okay, I got a lot of stuff to do before I did it. Okay, they said I forgot to hold up when we talked about old radio night. Okay, let me do this here. How can I do that? It would be that. Yeah, forgot to hold up the old radio night sticker Let's do it like that. Let's put the tower the right way. So check into old radio night. Populate the pocket protector. They said populate the pocket protector. I said, what is the PPP? All right, we have tonight. I think I've seen these guys before. CBS Hytron, a division of Columbia Broadcasting System. The Columbia Broadcasting Systems Incorporated, a sample Scripto pencil. Oh, it is. It's a mechanical pencil. A Scripto. They're giving away Scriptos. You go to CBS today, and if they have some promotional thing, it will be a plastic pen from China. But back in the day, the CBS Hytron actually gave you an official Scripto mechanical pencil. Let me see if I can put this on the less than stellar OTR close-up cam. Okay, there it is. CBS, like in color. The colors haven't faded. It's heavy metal. Come on, you can do better out there. I mean, not these guys, but I mean today. What happened to the good old days of whatever? Oh, put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket and get on with it. It's just a pen, and we want to check in some radios. So I will do that. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we are listening for any and all radio check-ins.
135, 135.
All right, I've got one heard. Let's go ahead and take that right now at the official time of 9:05 Pacific Standard Time. Next week at this time, I'll be calling it Pacific Daylight Time. At the microphonium, that is Cliff, and tell us what you've got over.
Okay, if everything is still working as it should, I will attempt to do that. SWL 135 here on a radio whose origin I am not certain of. Maybe we can find that out. This is the Fanon Fanfare XM2300. The greenest radio I've got. Back to you.
And green is good. Green is good. You know, I guessed correctly. I was going to say that you might be on a courier from that audio. It's got that good low fidelity audio that works well with your voice. And I know the courier, like the 23 or something, which I think this might be a clone of. The fanfare. Let's see. I would put that picture right there. Oh, and you are not kidding. If you want green, we got green on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. The Fanon Fanfare XM2300. I think I told a story that this should have been my very first radio, probably back in 1970 something. But I opted to the Radio Shack thing. Let's go back to you and hear some more of that great audio.
Okay, and I'm sure glad to hear that too. A great deal was done to this radio today at the last possible minute, because as you know, things only go wrong at the last possible minute. And it looks very much like a courier. This thing has 11 tubes, and unlike my courier and my Air Castle and other radios I've got that look just like this, except for the green, of course, it's got one of those little 6CW or whatever it is, New Vista tubes in it, which is very different. This also has electronic keying instead of the regular relay, so there's nothing, nice to snap and let me know that it's changing states. Excuse me. Also, speaking of green, I know it's not pictured in my picture, but this is the world's greenest D104 that I'm talking on for extra St. Patty's Day green. Let's see, I can't think of anything else. Back to you.
Sounding good. Such nice audio on that radio. Someone had commented that the microphonium on the picture, which is looks like the supplied stock microphone, looks green. I'm just wondering if that's just reflecting off the case. But in any case, the microphonium on which you are now talking is definitely green. How did you do that?
Oh, well, I did not. First, a word about the pictured mic. That is an ECI, because I think these are all ECI chassis and radios. They look very much the same. And it is a dark gray. Yeah, that is definitely not green. This one is, though. This is your basic emerald green D104 custom made. I guess I wasn't ready to talk yet. It's cold out here. I am in the CB cabana, and it was powder coated, custom made by the great guys over at Red Monkey a few years ago, and it just looks spectacular. If you can find it on the OTR Facebook page, it is there. If you go and look at the photos and stuff, you'll find a picture of this mic without the radio. Harvey wired it up to this radio for reasons that should be obvious. It's just all kinds of extra green going on here. Back to you.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's a nice radio. It's getting good comments. It's getting rave reviews. SWL10 Chrissy saying, a gorgeous radio and very functional. Good job, 135. Very nice radio from Warren Scott. So people are liking the green, and it's even two-tone green. So their designers did a good job on that. Our first radio of the evening, the Fanon XM2300. And out of the 23 Skidoo file, saying it's a second-generation Panasonic chassis with new Vista front. I said it was a Courier, but it's a Panasonic. Okay, no wonder it sounds so good. With a new Vista front end, introduced in 1969 for $199.95. And I think it was probably 1970 or 71 when I got it was probably late 70. And those were still in. I think that was the deciding thing, because these radios were about $30 to $40 more, even on a good price, than the realistic Navajo. And on a high school budget, the Fanon lost out. Larry's green with Evie. He's green with Evie. He's also green with Envy. And let's see, Superlip. Hey, Greg is listening in from Southern California. Let me see if we got a tube compliment. No, doggone it, I don't. But that should be the same. If it's a Panasonic 2, that's going to have the 12 AX7 in the audio department, which if you're like Mr. Superloop, you can maybe roll a few tubes in there and find that perfect sound. Back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by. This is a hit already.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Harvey what that audio tube is. It is not a 12AX7. Both of us noticed that when we were inside the radio today. It's a weird one, and I can't remember what it was. Harvey will probably remember, because he said he had some of those. But no, it was an unusual audio tube instead of your usual 12AU and 12AX7s. Yeah, the two-tone green reminds me a lot of the Heathkit two-tone green that they had. And, rats, what else was I going to say? One of the things Harvey discovered today in here, one of the reasons it was messing up on me, there was a resistor in here that appeared to have never been soldered into place. There was no sign on one leg of it that it had ever actually physically been connected to anything, so that was kind of scary. It's been running all these years. It was just kind of leaning against another resistor to make contact, and evidently decided it didn't want to do that anymore. And he discovered that, hey, this thing's not even soldered on here. Among other problems, such as alignment, he straightened it out. And despite his best efforts, it now works on all 23 channels. Oh, and I forgot to mention channel 11. I'm sure you can tell in the picture, is definitely glowing green. Channel 11 is a green channel on this radio. Back to you.
Yeah, I just zoomed in on it. There it is, and I noticed even the chrome stripe separating the two colors when they etch out, embossed little names. It looks like it's underneath the green. So pretty cool. There, the Fanon Fanfare XM 2300. Someone is suggesting a 6EU7 possibly could be a replacement tube on that, although you just never know. We'll see if we can find that out. Also, and I'll mention it on the tail end of your transmission here about, since you sort of started the question last week about the mic gain on the front of the radio, we're still looking to find those other 3 Panasonic chassis radios that have a mic gain on the front. And of course, the hint we got earlier was none of the radios with a front panel variable mic gain control were sold in the U.S., but they were Panasonic chassis. And you've got one of them. You checked it in last week. It's sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
And thanks for letting me check it in. Hopefully that'll be Harvey with the answer to the mystery tube. Because he showed it to me and told me what it was, and it's marked on the chassis. But I can't read it through the case. I finally got it back into the case. Thanks for letting me check it in. Let's see if Harvey can answer this trivia question.
Yeah, we'll go to Harvey. I've got page 2 out here, and before we check in with Harvey and get possibly another radio, I wanted to get Gary checked in out of Sacramento, just jumping in. Gary, you're like the worldwide California traveler. You must know every bump and dip in Highway 99 going up down the state. And then also SWL 40, Larry is checking in as well. Now, Harvey, if you're within the sound of my voice, do you have any info on what that mystery tube could be? Over.
Yes, 6EU7. According to the tube manual, same type of tube as a 12AX7, except it's a 6. I'm going to look at the actual tube itself. The 12AX7's got the split heaters. It's a 12-volt heater with a split in the middle for 6 volts. The 6EU7 is just 6. I think the construction is basically the same. Plate voltage is about the same. So apparently it's about the same.
All right, sounds good. I don't know. It's beefing it up. And Greg, Superloop gets to take an extra spin on the OTR game board for coming up with this 6EU7. And thank you, Harvey. You're sounding good. Do you want to check, since I've got you here, do you want to check in a radio? I know it's early. I know you don't like to be in the single digits on the check-ins, but I could do that.
No, I don't want to.
You and Cornbread. He doesn't want to check in. He doesn't check in his SWL number because he doesn't have one. And you don't want to check in your radio. So that's okay. You don't have to check in. It's a good thing. But we are looking for Radio 2 and the mystery question, what are those 3 Panasonic radios? And the jingle singer saying, do they know? Well, let's see.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, I like that. The music and the latest news. We've tried music in the past, but YouTube doesn't like it, and they usually flag it unless it is something that we come up with, like the Espresso Trucking Company made specifically of a copyrighted feature of the Old Tube Radio Network. Then we're okay. The news is we're looking for radio number 2. There you go. Oh, and before I go, Sam is on the hunt here for a possible Panasonic chassis radio, and he's coming up with something I've never heard before, but it's the NASA, the NASA 46VB. I think that's not V8. The 46VB has a mic compressor knob. So I'm putting that down. We'll see if that's not one on the list, but that's definitely doesn't sound like something I've heard in the US of A. All right, Sam, good. I think you were on the right track. Good Sherlocking. OTR is standing by listening for Radio 2.
45.
Hello, 45. Hello, Paul. Are you within the sound of the old Tube Radio Network? Over.
Okay. I think I can check in this one. If you can hear me, I can hear you, but it's not real good. There's so much noise tonight. But anyway, I want to check in my Teaberry Model T radio.
All right, Teaberry. What was in the mid-'60s? Wasn't that a gum? They used to have a song on one of their commercials called the Teaberry Shuffle or something like that. I don't know if that was a Herb Alpert song, but you've got the Teaberry. And what model is it again? Over?
Model T. Like a Teaberry, but it's a Model T.
Okay, and then I'm trying to narrow this down on this one. Is it a 23 channel or a 40 channel?
It's 23 channel.
All right, I've picked a selection, and let's see. It says it's photo courtesy of Steve. I don't know if that's yours or not. Let me bring it up here, but it is a Teaberry Model T. I'm just checking to make sure if it has a mic gain or not, but that's not a Panasonic chassis. It's got a fine tune. There it is. All right. Cool looking radio and the 23 channel version and possibly a Panasonic chassis. I don't know. Take a transmission.
And that's my radio right there. 23 channel. Pretty neat radio, I'll tell you what. I had to turn it tonight. I'd had it at an older one. I was trying to check in, but I couldn't hear a thing from the noise level. So this gets a little bit of noise relief. It's got fine tune on it, which helps it some. So it's 23 channel and 10 tube. Volume control, range gauge, PA/CB size switch, and all that stuff on the thing. So it's pretty nice radio, and I can hear you. That's the main thing. Back to you.
All right, well, that is a good thing. The Teaberry T, import radio from Japan. You can find out more about it on Sam's CB54, page 111. Tube complement. 10 tubes, it looks like. Got a 12AX7 in the mic amp, 6BQ5, another 6BQ5, and all the rest are 6-volt coots. The final, of course, is the 6BQ5, driven by a 6BA6, and sounding good audio on that radio tonight. Over.
Great, I'm glad you can hear me. The thing sold for $255, so it wasn't a real cheap radio. And of course you have it, it's made overseas in Japan and by Panasonic. So that's the story of the thing. I'm running an aesthetic TMD 107 on the thing. Back to you.
Perfect radio for that. For your voice and for the radio. It's got some nice highs and it doesn't squelch out the lows. Teaberry's, it looks like they have, sort of like Robin, they got the transmit receive lights, the mod light, the PA, and there is the infamous range gain switch. Because as we noted, the 13 Panasonic chassis had a range expand, range boost, or range gain on the front panel. This is one of them, but not one of the 5 with the mic gain. So obviously this wasn't sold in anywhere else but the U.S. 23 channels, sounding good. Give us another transmission. Thanks for battling the noise to bring us some radios, Paul. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, if I don't hear you all the way, bear with me, please. Basically, it's got the range gain boost on the thing, so I'm going to turn it off, see if it makes any difference. Turn it back on. Does it make any difference?
It did not make any difference. You still sound as good as you did before on and off. And that's why sometimes we don't even recommend. It's cool to give the demo, but sometimes the switches are in such a condition that if it's on and you turn it off, it may not come back. Or in this case, maybe it's on and you turned it off and it stayed on. But it still sounds good. Didn't hear a difference. But it's, let's see, SWL25 would say it's working.
Okay, hey, thanks for checking in, Dennis. I'll be listening to you on the iPad. That way I can hear you. Thanks again.
All right, we will be here. That's right. If you can't pick us up well on the radio, you can always go to oldtuberadio.net, where you can listen in on the Universal Media Net web audio device of choice. Or perhaps the YouTube thing is up where you see a goofy guy in the seersucker suit. Yes, I'm the sucker that bought it at Sears, and the pocket protector, but more importantly, your old tube radios. We are listening for radio number 3. Got a check-in from SWL13, Mr. Cobra. Hello, Mike. Thanks for joining us, as you have for, 20, 30 years? For a long, long time, Mr. Cobra, on the old Tube Radio Network tonight. Got you checked in. And speaking of checking in, the jingle singers are gathering around the ribbon microphonium once again. I can kind of see through. No, I can't see through as good because everything was moved over to this desk. If they were behind me, I could see because there's no stuff. We'll get things back the way they should be. Back in about 20 seconds. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
We are listening for Radio 3. And Warren, Motormouth Mall wants his blazer back. We haven't heard from John in a while. Sometimes he'll stop into the Old Tube Radio Network. And, you know how he loves AM. And I have not heard him on 75 meters. He was using an SDR, this little size of like a package of cigarettes, SDR radio, that doing his Motormouth Mall magic through the modulator and running some FM thing, and it's sounding really good. And when he was on, and this was months ago, I didn't have the wherewithal to get a decent carrier out to him. So I'm waiting for John. I'm waiting for Motormouth Mall, as known on your 11-meter citizen band radio service, to show up on 40 meters or 75 meters AM, and I might be able to get a conversation with him. And if I do, I will record it and we'll play it back here as we talk AM and all that good sounding audio here on OTR. Looking for Radio 3. Hey, 60, go ahead. Your signal is a bit down, but I can hear you over.
Well, we don't know about these old radios. Every time we turn them on, they might be up or they might be down. Anyway, my Johnson Messenger, 223, looking right back at you.
All right, and we needed one because the E.F. Johnson that was on the shelf behind me it's gone but not forgotten. It's forgotten but not gone. We just forgot to put it back on the table. I'm finding the picture of the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. Yeah, your signal is down. You're normally about 5 over 9, and you are about S7. So we don't know if it's a radio or an antenna thing, but I hear you, and we want to check in a radio. That's why we are here every Saturday. So let's do that. Take another transmission.
Yeah, there might be a coax somewhere. I kind of hear the difference on the audio of the received, brother. But anyway, on the original stock mic, that wanted it's pretty good. It looks like it maybe can be, but it's not. It's stock. It looks similar to Turner Plus 2, but actually the same color as the radio. Other than that, we're on 11 tubes, or 10 tubes rather. And so when I see about the audio tube, I'd have to turn the radio off to tell you that.
Yeah, it was not an audio thing. It's a carrier thing. Your audio is fine. That's the only reason I'm hearing you, is your audio is just kind of coming in through my noise level. Your carrier is way down, so... sometimes you can tell on the radio when you key up if it shows the SRF and you see the meter pegging against the case. That's typically that the SWR or a bad jumper cable or something. But if it looks like it's wiggling or something, then who knows? It is there. You are there, but just make a note. And if you check in another radio, that might confirm or deny whether it's an antenna or a jumper issue. That your signal is down just a bit, but not down enough to not get on the list. You are Radio 3, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. It's sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you, Dennis, for letting me check it in. I heard something, a little click or something. I don't know, it might be an audio, or no, not, a cable. I'm going to do that just before I check in another one. Thanks for letting me check it in, Dennis.
All right, you are back. I kept the S meter up just in case, and there you are in your classic 5/S9. The audio came right up with it because it was always there, so it is now behaving. It heard us talking about it.
Yeah, I guess they, for the years that they've been in service, I guess they need that little extra attention. Appreciate it. We'll be going to another one.
All right, and likewise for giving us radio number 3 on kind of a lazy evening here, Saturday evening, the Old Tube Radio Network, Midtown Fresno. Channel 11 is where we are at, 27085. Some people ask, why are you on Channel 11? It's like got to be the noisiest place you can be when Skip is running. Well, a lot of the old radios that only had one channel or a couple of channels typically had Channel 11. I believe it was a designated possible call channel as well, so it was just a natural when a group of us got together and said, some of us have these old radios, let's get off the main channel and all the noise, and it's like, well, everybody's got Channel 11, let's head down there. And so it was, and still is, here on the 12th day of March, 2022. Been doing this a long time, thanks to you. Listening for radio number 4. So I just mentioned on the Panasonic, we've got the one guess of the radio, and it's a good guess because I believe that station actually has that or has seen the radio before, the NASA. But if that would be one of the 3, and we'll find out what they are at the end of the net here, then there should be 2 more possibly like it that didn't make sales in the U.S. Then, in fact, let me write that down. NASA 46VB with the mic or the mic compressor knob. Panasonic chassis sold in the U.S. Hey, and there's John. I'm going to get John checked in. Hold on. Let's try this here.
Can I sneak in there quick?
Yeah, hang on just a second. K6MI from KB6GFD. John, we're going to check you into the Old Tube Radio Network because you've got a ton of them. Literally. KB6GFD. All right, we got 73 checked in from the cross band, and Harvey, jump right in. Over.
Yeah, this is for Cliftonstein. Hey, Cliffy.
I wonder if he's listening on the stream. See how long his delay is.
Hey, Cliff. Well, he might be inside. I'll call him on the phone. Thank you. Oh, I have to figure out how to do this. I just got a picture from New York. The Mark III is set up over at Levon's place. No other message other than showing me the radio is finally out of the box and on his bench.
All right, good deal. I knew we'd find a home. We'll have to see with this Skip we can pick up New York. I'm sure it looks great, and it's a good adornment to any radio table that is at least 3 feet long. So very good. Good job all the way around from Dave to you, Harvey, to Levon. I want to say hello to our new stations listening in. Reedley, Fresno, Hampshire, Tennessee. Hermosa Beach, checking in. What's going on in Hampshire, Tennessee tonight, or near it? 22 degrees. where it's clear in 11:34. Let's go a little bit farther away and see if we can't find what's happening to one of our digital listeners in near the University of Edinburgh. But I do not see any weather data for that, so we'll see what happens. David, listening in from Lebanon, Oregon, trying to catch us here on Channel 11. If we had some skip conditions, the E-skip or the sporadic-y or whatever, the short hop, you probably would hear us. You're in a good spot in that northwest section there to possibly pick us up. But the ground wave is going to be 30 or 40 miles, but keep listening on a Saturday evening. You just never know. Listening for radio number 4, the Jingle Singers they must like that green beer because they want to sing some more. We'll be back in about 20 seconds.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Listening for Radio 4.
SWL 60.
60 beaconing in like 60 should take a transmission.
Thank you much, Sir Dennis. I'd like to check in my pretty blue radio, the Little Hustler from World Radio Labs.
World Radio Labs, I think, was it last week, the week before, we talked about Leo Meyerson and all the things that he did, including jumping in from amateur radio to Class D 11-meter band citizen radio with the WRL Globe radios. Just heard I think it was a Globe King 500 on the air the other night on one of the AM nets. Would it take your pretty blue radio and add about 100 pounds to it, and maybe about 4 or 5 more of those radios, and you'd have yourself a Globe King 500. But what you've got is a Hustler that's kind of a chip off the same block. That's what sounds so good. Take a transmission.
Thank you much, doggone it. We enjoy this little 7-tube Hustler radio. Right now, it's running bass. It is mobile. And it's setting up here on top of my power supply. A very, very, a little radio that is no inconvenience. I set it anywhere, key it up, and talk on it. Now, I just tuned you in on the tunable receive and have an excellent 20 pounds on you. I just love the way it operates. And the audio light on it, it just reflects as you go modulating. It does have a spotter switch and a crystal tune switch on it. And there is a crystal in the crystal slot in case I need it. Now, I don't know exactly what it is. It's been a while since I was with Harvey and he installed this, but I'm sure he could tell you about that. He has probably a better memory than I have. But anyway, back to you on my pretty blue radio with a Turner +3.
Blue radios, green radios, any color will do on the Old Tube Radio Network as long as we can get a check-in. I forgot that you had an S-meter on that, so thank you for the signal report. Question, does the meter start at the bottom and go up? I know they have some that start at the top. That would be 0, and S40 or 40 over S9 is going to be at the bottom. So an inquiring mind wants to know if net control keys up like he's doing now, that needle should be somewhere in the middle, I would think.
Yeah, Little Rascal starts at the top, and as the tubes glow, she goes down to the bottom and works her way up the vertical slot. Yeah, kind of a little weird setup. A very small little meter, but very legible, and the light is bright. A speaker slot is also small. It probably is maybe a 2.5 by 2, but a good sounding little radio. Warms up quick, and a guy can't complain.
Can't complain. No, that's especially when you have a radio like that, and there aren't that many around, especially from WRL, and yours seems to be in good shape. It certainly sounds good, And as I always say, we are so lucky that we have the greatest tube radio operators, not to discount others, that we have some of the greatest tube radio operators here on the West Coast, right here in the Central Valley, that take time out of their Saturday evenings of what they're supposed to be doing, but sneak into the radio room and share their radios with us, as they've been doing for a long, long time. And now that we're streaming and all over the place, sharing them with our shortwave listeners who may or may not have similar things. Good forward modulation on the Hustler, sounding good. And one of our stations says, that's a keeper. And you know it is. Thanks for bringing it by. Radio number 4.
You're welcome there, Dennis. Definitely appreciate the key downs on these radios. Enjoy listening to them and also looking at them. Like that one Cliff has there, that Phantom or whatever it was, the EXM 23. Beautiful radios. Doggone it. And also, we love enjoying and listening to this station, Channel 11, OTR. We're warming up another one.
All right, like Uncle Hairball says, probably when you are looking at your radio collection there thinking, which radio do I want to check in on first tonight, you'll say something like, I'm going to fire up the Baby Blue, and we'll know the Hustler be on there. Thanks for stopping by. Anyone look deep in their collection for that Panasonic chassis that doesn't have the range expand, range boost, range gain, but has the variable microphone gain? Could be one of the Canadian Cardone Mark II, Mark XL, but there are 3 more. Possibly one is the NASA 46 VB, and I'm not even sure where that would be from. But we'll keep an ear out for that. Two more panel. Maybe one of them will check in tonight. I would think in our 37 years of doing this, we would have at least had most of those radios stop by, but you just never know. OTR standing by. Also want to say hello to Germantown, Wisconsin. Let's see what's going on in Wisconsin tonight. I don't think they're getting 20-degree weather. No, of course not. They're getting 19-degree weather. This is the perfect night if you're out there way far away from the West Coast to be in the radio room tonight with just as many tube radios as possible turned on and beaking. Now, out in Miami, Florida, up in the balcony there, dressed like it's spring, 58 degrees. All right, sounding good. OTR listening for radio number 5. I'm going to bring up a picture of that Cardone radio. And because Mitch is saying it has both a range expand and a mic gain. Fully featured radio. Well, there it is. Now, that's interesting. How does that work? When Cliff checks that in again, probably next year in March again, we'll have to see if they fight each other. You've got the mic gain and a range expand. So if you turn the mic gain all the way up, could you actually turn the range expand on and get more audio? Or is one sort of a function of the mic, the mic amplification circuit, and one is a variable, 20 dB boost, where the range expand is a switchable 20 dB boost. Interesting, but full features. Spitfire Mark XL has 4 companion radios from Panasonic with a mic adjustment, and we're trying to find out if anybody knows what they are. We've got 2 of them and maybe a third one, and we're looking for 2 more. We're also looking for any radios, too. OTR standing by. And Chrissy, a very good observation, because I believe the reason it looks like a Robin, if you took the case off, that Spitfire Mark XL would look probably exactly like a Robin T123B. So on the outside, it has, various switches in different positions, but indeed. And Sam is back in now. Let's see. He's got a couple more entries here. Let me write these down. An FISSER. So these should be non-U.S. That definitely doesn't sound like a U.S. sounding name. FISSER almost sounds, I don't know, Scandinavian? I'm not sure. It's the Frank Bravo 23 plus 23. And says it looks exactly like the NASA. And as you can see, tell, and Chrissy's pointing this out, that the American sold in the U.S. Panasonic chassis look similar as well. So interesting stuff. Sam, I'm adding that next one down on the list here. See how close you are getting. But that definitely sounds like it might be one of them. And the break OTR. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Go ahead, please. Okay, Harvey, I think that's you, but the audio is very weak, broken up, and the signal is way, way into my noise. I'm listening. I mean, that's more than just a barefoot radio without the range boost. That's a radio that's got an issue.
Okay. How's that right there?
Okay, audio came up. It's still in the noise, but the audio came up, so take a transmission. We can do that. Or maybe we can't do that.
Okay. Told I have to concentrate. Okay. How's that right there?
All right, that gets, there's a little bit of buzz in the audio, but we know about that, but that gets you in the ballpark, and most SWLs will hear you just fine. Now take a transmission.
Okay. Is there a hum and a buzz now? Hello, 1, 2, 3.
No, actually, I think you solved it. The discernible buzz is no more. Over.
Okay. Let's see. Turn this up a little. Okay. Okay. This is a green radio. It is a Spitfire by Cordone, but not any other Spitfire that you see.
Okay, because I have 3 from which to choose. Let me bring up on the Rolodex here the one that just says Spitfire, and it says no image available. Because I've got a Mark II and a Mark XL. Okay, so does it have a variable mic control? That would be one of the Canadian ones, but something tells me that it probably doesn't because it's not a Mark series.
Yeah, you got to watch the needle here. Okay, this is Spitfire. Let me read it. The Spitfire Citizens Band Transceiver. And It's a direct, absolute clone of the Robin T123 with the magic eye tube.
Aha. So indeed, that should be. Aha. You know what? I think I can do this. Courtesy of Grumpy's site, I'm going to jump in here. Yeah. Okay. And there it is. No, that's a Mark XL. They fooled me. All right, forget that. But it's basically the Canadian Robin. But they all are because it's the same chassis, I think. And it doesn't have a mic gain, right?
No mic gain. Now, here's the fun part about this radio. It looks like the Robin T123. Almost identical. I'm looking at both radios. Absolute both radios. I mean, I'm going to take a picture of them and stack them. In a picture. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Now, I have to do some work on this. I have to change a cap. One crystal is out. Channels 13 through 16, I think, are out. But I have the original box that this came in. Looking at the box, the Spitfire CB transceiver, DOT approval number, big old number, serial number 3591. Now, on the back of the radio, there's a riveted in tag that says the Spitfire and the serial number 3591. Engraved or embossed or whatever you want to call it, stamped in to that tag. However, on the front of this radio, right where the word Robin would be, on the lower right, is Cobra-24. So this is the Spitfire, a product of Cardone Import Limited, Company Limited, Cobra 24. Identical to the Robin, except for Robin and Cobra 24. And I looked up all the Cobras, and the 24 is not this by Dynascan, so I don't know. I found this on eBay and got it, and I'm happy with it. But I have to do a little work on it. But it's green for Cliff.
All right. Audio is coming up. The audio clarity is coming up a little bit on that. Of course, you've got the range boost on. So interesting that maybe that was a lesser version. I'm thinking it's very rare. I'm searching for some pictures here, even on the sites that have a lot of pictures, like Grumpy's and the CB Radio Gazette. They're nothing. They've got the XL and the 2, but not the plain Jane Spitfire. So yeah, keep a hold of that one. Maybe get a picture of it too. Oh, it doesn't. Does it have a magic eye? I don't think it does it? Because it's the Robin clone.
It's the Robin clone of the T123, which does have the magic eye. Now, there's something else about this. Let me look it up here. Yeah. Okay. The Robin that I have up on the shelf, which is in as good a shape as this one, I mean, they're really, really good. It has the little metal seat things on the bottom where they're pushed out. Little, I don't want to describe it the way I'm thinking, but anyway, 4 little pushed out pieces of metal, for feet. But instead of that, besides that, they put rubber feet, funny little suction cup type rubber feet on the Robin. And I went, I'll leave them on there. Well, when I got this radio in the box, it's got similar suction cup rubber feet on the bottom. So those Canadians up there they like their galoshes.
Yeah, this is the funny little rubber feet frequency. You know, in all the time that I've been involved with OTR, we've talked to Northwest Oregon and Idaho and Colorado and Utah. I don't think we've ever talked, besides British Columbia, to a, you know, what I say, Canada proper station. I don't know, because maybe they could inform us about these things. All right. Well, according to 23 Skidoo and the files, the T-123 and the Spitfire are twins, as you noted. Robin and Cardone seem to have had a company relationship and shared several common designs other than Panasonic chassis rigs. And the other radio that did that was the and I'm blank. Oh, the Gonset, the Gonset G12 and those radios, because they had that interesting channel offset on the crystals. Like 27085 would be not channel 11, but obviously on those radios, their channel spacing is correct. All right, well, we're not going to add that to the list of the ones we're looking for because it doesn't have the mic gain on it, but it is a player. Sounds good. It's held up for the couple of old buzzard transmissions you've made, so it's a keeper.
37.
Okie doke, I hear 37. Oh yeah, this is definitely a keeper. In fact, I had it in the original box in the closet, and I mentioned it's Eclipse, so I sent him a picture, but it doesn't say Spitfire on the front, and so I sent him another picture of it in the back, with its back, so he could see the tag. But I also got a picture from Levon, so the radio is set up there, and he sent me a picture. So I see it's out of the box. So possibly next week, while I'm working, you might have to proxy me in if I don't get back in time. Levon might be talking on the radio. Not that we'd hear it, unless he does, what is that? You know what I mean. I can't think of it. Echo link thing. And then maybe you could do it that way.
Yeah, well, we've got some stations already mentioned on the chat that are within the skip zone, so we might have a couple of stations talking back and forth on their tube radios. We'll hear about it. They'll let us know if they get in contact. It'd be cool to do it, but of course, when we're until the summer months, until July and whatever, where we're just going to be inundated by the mini grass. All the good skip, not that they're not good skip, but all the stations that are typically listening to us don't show up in the evenings. But we'll see. We'll see what Cycle 25 is going to be interesting. All right, I'm going to stand by. We are looking for radio number 5, and I think he's online right now. Thank you, Harvey, and hello, Chris.
And hello, Dennis, and hello, Harvey. SWL 37, I want to check in a radio real quick.
This is the place to check in said radio. Go ahead, over.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A 24-channel version, and we're running it with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
All right. One of our weekly, monthly, yearly, decadely favorites. The Super MC11A with the green channel selector, apropos for what we're doing here in March. Take a transmission.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get it in here. I was watching the movie. I had to come in here real quick and check in. So, anyway, I did it, and I'll let you get back to getting some more radios. And Harvey, that radio did sound good.
Yeah, it's playing well, so I think I'll do a little peek and tweak on it. Radio number 5 from General Radio Telephone out of beautiful downtown or uptown Burbank. Back in the day, 9 tubes running 12AX7 in the mic preamp, an ECLL 800 with your output, and a various and sundry other 6-volt tubes. Always sounding good. Thanks for jumping in and jumping out.
All right, Dennis, we'll talk to you later. I'm going to turn this off and get back to my show here. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being there, as always. I was going to say 241. 37, we're out and clear.
Indeed. The Jingle Singers, which one do they want to do? It's getting late. Okay, they've got that one queued up. Here we go. We'll take a little spelling test back in a moment, OTR.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR.
Let's do some adding.
27.085 megahertz.
What do they amount to?
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Counting and amounting, but what is it, Jell-O? Is it like Jell-O? There's always room for one more radio or check-in. OTR standing by.
60.
Like that. 6, Radio 6. Yeah, we'll make it 9:59. Remember, we're already going to lose an hour here coming up. Take a transmission, Joe. Tell us what you got. Over.
Dennis, doggone it. All these pretty green radios this evening, have been a bit intriguing. This is a Robin 123B and 11 tubes with a few added features, of course, 10 extra channels, and everything glowing like it should.
Yes, indeed, and that is very similar to the radio we just checked in, which was the Canadian version of the Robin, or not 2 check-ins ago, or is it 3 check-ins ago? Anyway, it was the Spitfire. So you've got yourself the Canadian Spitfire by way of wherever they came out of. Boy, it sure is not. What have you done? What microphone do you have? That can't possibly be the stock microphone.
No. This is the D104 Lollipop. It is a desk mic, power mic, and doggone it, we kind of go back and forth just to hear the difference, and mainly only for that. But other than that, the other part that we fool around with quite a bit is our few extra channels during the day to kind of get the hang of it. It does have some micro switches in the front that were installed, and pretty nicely done, in fact. Everything works on it, and it's always warm up, instant on, and you're talking.
Yeah, that's got does that have a switch on or something for a standby, or I don't know, maybe that's the 123, but when you say it's talking, you are not kidding.
Yeah, no, it has instant on there. I plug it in there, and of course have to warm up the other ones and let the old tubes glow. With this one, I plug it in, and it just sits there, and mine's its own business. But when you get ready to talk, you just turn it on, and you can start broadcasting.
Yes, you can. Although I think on Citizen Band Radio, we're not supposed to broadcast. We can transmit, but we can't broadcast. Radio number 7, it's all semantics. Radio 6, the Robin T123, and I forgot to put the B, but it's green, and this is the month of March is green radios, and it seems like it's a Panasonic chassis kind of night, even though the manufacturer name is Robin. It sounds good. Give it one more shot before it goes back and takes another, 7-day hiatus.
Boy, so lucky, that it can do that. Okay, Dennis, well, thank you a whole bunch here, and we'll put the thing on standby for another 6 days, and we'll catch you later.
All right, very good. We will check with you next time. The Old Tube Radio Network counting and amounting. And I see the Jingle Singers coming up to the microphonium once again. Looking for Radio 8 if it's out there. Hello, Paul, if you can hear me through the noise, over.
We'll give it another whirl. Seems like it's gone a little bit better out there. Anyway, I want to check in this one. My Pierce Simpson Companion.
All right, good choice. We have, let me get off the screen here. We have, definitely have Pierce Simpson fans who listen in. And unlike the old days, we seem to be a little lacking on the Pierce Simpson radio. So You are coming to the rescue. Looking through the Rolodex, looking for the Companion. There's a couple of models. This is the earlier. There was a Companion 2, and we even have one that looks like it's out of your collection. So up it goes on the screen, and we'll go back to you for a transmission. Over.
Okay. Well, this is my Pierce Simpson. It's acting up now a little bit. All I needed for having it act up. But I'll try to get it in. It's a Companion, 1962 year. So it's really old. And I'll tell you what, it has bad rejection on the thing. But anyway, I'll check it in. It's a full plastic case of the thing. And it's a maroon radio, completely maroon. And you got a picture of it there, except for the front is gray. So that's about the difference on the thing. It's got a pretty good transmit up. The receive is very bad. But other than that, it's all there. Back to you.
It is on the air. It looks like you could make waffles out of that speaker or something. Interesting radio, and I noticed Pierce Simpson, I think, was designing these to look like kitchen tabletop AM radios, so maybe it would make its way out of the garage or the workshop into the house. But this definitely looks, and some of their other radios the same way. They looked like the Zenith or the RCA tabletop AM radios, and I think that was a good choice that they did that. Plastic case, I think, 1961 is a little bit after the Bakelite craze. So but it's pretty thick plastic, so I don't think you'll have any problem with it melting. Over.
Well, I tell you, I don't believe it. You have corrected some of the noise. Continue on. I can hear you real good. It's better. Back to you.
All right. Well, I'm looking at my station here. It looks like it's going down rather than going up. So I think whatever happened was on your end. So too bad we're ending very soon, but I'm glad you got in a Pierce Simpson radio. And, isn't it a joy when the frequency is very unnoisy, like it is tonight down here in Midtown? Thanks for radio number 8, the Pierce Simpson Companion. And then the singers of Jingle said,
You're tuned to
OTR, Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
all right, but before we totally sign off here, and I think, where did I go? I should be here somewhere. All right, there's the Pierce Simpson. Pierce Simpson's a good thing. We had our quiz question. Let me bring out my cheat sheet here. The question again, 13 Panasonic chassis tube radios had a range expand, range boost, range gain. We've had many of them check in tonight. Then that switch was on the front panel. Only 5 had a front panel variable microphone gain control. 2 of the radios were the Canadian-made Cardone Spitfire Mark II, the Cardone Spitfire Mark XL, which we heard last week. We heard the Cardone Spitfire this week, but it was not on that list and didn't have the mic gain. Then there were 5 total. That's 2, and so the other 3. It appears that the guess tonight on what at least 2 of those might be. Oops, we don't want to do a PC update in the middle of the program here. From Sam, it was the NADA 46VB and the Fisser FISSER FB 23 plus 23. So if anybody has any comments or would like to add to that, I'm going to see if I can jump in on the Echo Link and grab 23 Skidoo to see if he can elucidate, enlighten us on those other 3 radios and how close did Sam come, and what was that third one that we can't seem to find? All right, if you are listening, sir, go ahead and jump in when you can get the transmitter to go on the Echo link, and we'll see what's up. KB6GFD.
Well, thanks, Dennis. Been waiting all night to give the answers, and first I'd like to say congratulations to Sam, because Sam did correctly guess 2 of 3. That leaves 1 yet unnamed, and I believe you actually have a photo of the third of those 3. If you wouldn't mind putting that up, it is the Tango 46T, as in Tango. So just to recap, the 3 radios that we were looking for were the NASA 46VB, which Sam guessed, the Fisser FB23 Plus 23, which Sam also guessed, and the Tango 46T. Those 3 radios were actually marketed in Europe in countries such as Belgium, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. And what was so unique about them, in addition to what is labeled as a mic compressor on these radios, it's actually a mic gain control, as far as I can tell from schematics, same as the other Panasonic radios. But these are 46-channel radios, and you'll notice that there's an over-under channel selector dial, and you can see in the window of this photo, channel 1 and channel 24 stacked on top of each other. There's a switch to the left of the channel selector that has a high and a low position to select the range. What's unusual, and the way that they actually implemented this, was they added an additional mixer crystal that was 300 kilohertz lower than the standard mixer crystal for the crystal synthesis circuit in the radio. And when you hit the switch, you just swap that mixer crystal and started over on channel 24 on the dial. However, that 24 on the dial is not the US channel 24, and there's a whole separate mapping of those channels, but net, it covers most of the channels up through the US 40-channel plan with a few exceptions, as well as the quote-unquote free band channels up to 27,555 or triple nickel, also with the exceptions in the same places where you would expect to see the remote control channels, the 3A, 7A, 11A, 15A, 19A, 22A, and 22B. Those channels were also skipped on the upper range, so you do have gaps in coverage. But very, very interesting radio. Of note, in addition, is also the TVI switch that has a low and high position that knocked it down to a lower output. It may have been 100 milliwatts on low, just labeled for TVI. People in Europe lived in very close quarters, and so that was a good way to talk local without annoying the neighbors. I'll take a pause there, and back to you.
All right, excellent. And I saw the TVI switch, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. There's the catch. There's the thing that wasn't in the Panasonic radios that were here in the U.S., and they brought it out. But as you said, as you mentioned, it's not actually a TVI trap. It's just a switch to attenuate the output, cleverly disguised as a TVI filter. So, yeah, I guess that would work as well. Now that I see the Tenco, I'm going to say in my brain of brains that we probably in our 35 years have had a Tenco check in, and it may have been from Mr. Bill out of Red Monkey. They may have had one in the shop at one time, but that name looks, the radio looks familiar, but the name looks familiar. The NADA or NASA, or is it NADA? Anyway, my S looks like a D, and the Fisser, I'm pretty sure that we have never come across those on OTR, but it looks like a well-built radio, and it kind of also, you mentioned about the sort of different channel plan for Canadians. Obviously, they weren't under the Federal Communications Commission here in the U.S. They could change things around a bit. So, very good. Sam did a good job. Thanks for some interesting radio trivia, as you were, and we'll go back to you for another transmission. Over.
Okay, Dennis, very good. Appreciate the opportunity to share that with folks. I've never seen one of these radios in person. I think some of you know that I've been doing quite a bit of digging through the archives all about the Panasonic radios and compiling lots of facts and figures. These are some of the most unusual ones that I've come across, at least in photographs, and have never heard one on the air. But if someone were able to get their hands on one of these, they would actually be quite useful on the current 40-channel band plan, as you would get built-in coverage, at least on AM, up through our channel 40 and up into the upper frequencies above that. So maybe one of these days it'll surface somewhere in the U.S. and we'll get to hear one or hear from someone that does own one. With that, I'll say 73 to you and catch you next time on the Old Tube Radio Network. 23 Skidoo, KA3TEB. We're out.
All right, thanks for the trip down memory lane, and no doubt we're going to get a bill from the Boslink people for the uplink, but that's good. It worked pretty well. Thanks for the info. Good job, Sam. And I don't know, some cornbread. Is it for sale? I think some people on Facebook have a key that says, "Is it for sale?" and they just hit it on just about every post. Well, I wish it was around here that it could be for sale. Thanks. Back to some counting and amounting. KB6 GFD. Okay, now that we know about the Panasonic radios, what's going on with what we did here? Tonight, 13 check-ins on page 1. We had 16 check-ins on page 2, 19 on page 3, 26 on page 4, for a total of, looks like 70, that's 29 and 45, so a total of 74 check-ins. Not too bad. If you got the new home game ad, Mr. OBP SWL2 to the 00 position at the top of page 1. And hold on a second, my radio list just went crashing to the floor. And I'm trying to pick it. I'm wired into this chair, literally. I'm wired into the chair. And so when I have to go crawling around on the floor, between the suit, the tie, the pocket protector, the headphones, and any type of cable that will go crashing things on the floor, I have to be very, very careful. All right, that's not the picture I want. Actually, that's not the picture I want either. That's the picture I want. All right, here we go. Radios tonight, we had 8. We started off with the Fanfare XM2300 Very Green radio from Cliff. Thank you for that. Paul, battling his noise, brought us the Teaberry T. That's the 23-channeled version. I do believe that was out at the time, 75, 76, and they updated it to a 40-channeled version, which may be even as rare. I'm not sure what the rare one is. Probably the 23-channel version. Who knows? Joe had a couple of, actually 3 radios tonight. The E.F. Johnson Messenger 223 was his Radio 3, or our Radio 3. It could be his Radio 3, too. Our Radio 4 and his Radio 2 was the Hustler from World Radio Labs. Radio 5 tonight, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Thanks, Chris, for that during his intermission. Let's see. Radio 6 was Joe on the Robin T123B. We had Harvey on the Cardone Spitfire. No microphone gain on that, but a Canadian radio for Radio 7. And Paul at the very end on the Pierce Simpson Companion. So I'm looking here. If we go by names on the front of the radio, I think we had an 8-way tie. Fan and Teaberry, Johnson, World Radio Labs, General Radio Telephone, Robin, Cardone, Pierce Simpson. That doesn't happen too often, but it's kind of cool when it does. Now, you might say, well, the Cardone was a Robin, which indeed it was, or maybe the Robin was a Cardone, but we go by what's on front of the radio. So there you go. Oh, and there's... Okay, you guys want to do that? It's sort of ex post facto? All right, here we go. Let me stop talking. And then they said...
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
Okay, well, just replay the tape back, and you'll hear the totals. I think it's some copyright thing where if we give totals, we have to. Somebody wrote that for us, and we have to have it on the total. So I think I've fulfilled that item of interest. Next week we should be here. I always say that, and we seem to show up. Next week you should be here. I always say that, and you seem to show up. And so if that's the case, the Old Tube Radio Network will happen once again. I notice it's getting very windy out the window. I'm looking at the window cadaver, and things are going on. So I have to make sure that the antenna... I'm looking at the dials. I don't think the antenna is blown off the wall. 73, everybody. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. Catch us on Channel 11, 27085, and also give us next week your reports of any DX radio, tube radios that you were talking on, and maybe, we'll catch you on the skip, and we'll see what goes on. Thanks for listening. We will catch you next time on your Old Tube Radio Network.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR. He was just waiting for me to stop transmitting, and I'm getting out the page one. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, yes, if you would add one more to your list. Number 7, checking in.
All right, changing the proxy to an X in the square, and it looks kind of windy out there. Hope you didn't get blown away coming through the door.
No, it is definitely pretty windy out there, and thanks for whoever gave me the proxy.
All right. Well, it is now an official radio.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay, and Richard's going to try Echo Link again next week. Yeah, you were definitely transmitting, just no audio. We should have the link up, so it's there. Give it a shot, and yeah, I've got some extra equipment now, and I might make it through. I won't be as strong as Brian. Nobody can have a signal like that, but I might sound better on 7235. Let's see. Not checking in. Good night, Cornbread. Good night, everybody. And we will catch you next time, the Old Tube Radio Network.
I can't sneak in, huh?
Well, well, let's see. You can sneak in.
Good night, OTR, KN6OW.
Let's see. Yeah, in 25 words or less, what's Radio 9, over?
You know what it is. The Golden Beagle. Woof! From Routing Lavatories. Go ahead and check it in real quick. I'll let you go. And I might need proxy next week.
All right, will do. You know what the reason I let it in? Because it doesn't mess up the total. We did not have a Browning tonight, so we went from an 8-way tie to a 9-way tie, so that's perfectly acceptable. If it was going to break the tie, I probably would have disqualified you on a technicality. But good job. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks again, Dennis, and good night.
Click, click.